there is glory to be found, and it is on the horizon. And where that horizon starts, same as this world, is your world, is out there on the east. That's where the sun rises here. And we're at the farthest eastern point. Today is the day of a strange little festival in the town of really? Yeah, Daybreak. There it is. My notes. Spot on. In the town of Daybreak. The farthest
For a second, I thought I
city.
disconnected.
Nope.
I was like, I see him blinking, but what's going on?
Nope. That is nerves. Put a lot of work in. I want to do good. But anyway, we're past that now.
It's also the fact that you have like 400 pages of notes, so you're fine.
Yeah, no, I've been adding to them a lot. But yes, our story starts in Daybreak. It's the farthest eastern town on this continent. Eastern city, really. It's large. It has yearly festivals. It has gatherings. It boasts quite a many citizen. And it's middle of the night. We pan up and can kind of work our way through the streets. For you, Earthlings, this would be more of like a Renaissance Venice. You've got lots of, of these nice white, stark walls. We've got tiled roofs, but here there's also lots of color, of pastels splattered into the walls. We have cobblestones running through. We have pieces of nature here and there, and all the roads lead to the center of town. Much like a wheel, as all of these streets are interconnected, you can go around the rings and you can cut through, and you can always find yourself to this town square. Big open area. Nice tall bell tower that's actually built around a bit of a strange obelisk structure. And as we pan around this city and go through our streets, the camera pauses at the base of a tree. The camera slowly rises up and you'll see a man sleeping in the tree at about 4 a.m. on this day. It's spring, it's warm. It's interesting, though, that in the heart of such a large, vibrant town, there's a man sleeping in a tree. That brings us over to our first player, who gets to introduce themselves. Nestor, paint us a picture of this man we see in a tree.
Oh, I didn't expect to be first, so I was like, okay. In this tree is a 35-year-old man who has the rugged look of someone whose whole life has been on the hunt. And that person is Cassilian Dydrove. And he is a 35-year-old human ranger. And he grew up in a small town called Alpine's Peak, and just about everything about him looks like he has crashed into one too many trees. His like leather is scratched up all over. His pants look kind of torn up in some places. His boots look like they've been worn. You can tell he's definitely been shot at by a few arrows. But sitting on top of all of that is a very beautiful and almost unscathed green cloak with gold and purple detailings around the outside, and the picture of the artistry or tapestry of a tree on the back. And he is laid out on top of a branch on a tree right next to the inn. Because his whole life has been spent out in nature, he decided that at the end of the night, after a few drinks, he would rather be anywhere else but still in the inn. And so he went outside, found the first tree that he could climb up that was tall enough to ignore people, and he laid out. And at 4 a.m. in the morning, he's coming to and still trying to decide whether or not he wants to get up this morning. And he's just looking around and surveying the people and the neighborhood that he's in, and remembering how he got here.
And for those first few moments, it's quiet. It's groggy. You can hear a bird chirp off in the distance, and it decides to go back to sleep. And you can kind of see what looks like first door and the first light open just down the street. And you're like, oh yeah, another early bird, just like yourself. And about 10 seconds later, every door on the street flies open. Everyone is fully dressed. They look incredibly well. They come bustling out, bumping into each other, carrying large trays, and it is a flurry of about 3 to 4 minutes as everyone goes passing by, opening and closing windows, shutting doors, banging on pots and pans, as people crash into each other. Carts go swiftling by, and in about 5-6 minutes after, it seems like everyone has now settled somewhere else than the doors that they just threw open.
Oh, okay. I think Cassilian, who goes by Cass for short, I think Cass is like not overwhelmed, but definitely caught off guard by how quickly the whole dynamic changed and then changed again. And he just kind of sits up, like looks around and affectionately sort of like, gives the tree trunk a rub and a pat and says, thank you, my queen, and jumps off, like everything on his back, and just kind of lands down and just looks around. Well, I thought we were getting the day started.
And you kind of can see into the window of the inn. I mean, this tree was maybe 10, 20 feet down the road that you found. And you're able to kind of peer back into the window. And that inn, it was moderately attended last night for drinks. Today, there are cobblers working on tables. There are people folding intricate patterns. There are just packages getting wrapped. It seems like the kitchen has extra staff, and they're just preparing food and throwing them off to these people with like big rolls of butcher paper. And then you can see someone like almost like they forgot, and they run to the door, hang a piece of paper on it, tap it into the door, and slam the door back shut. And they see you kind of in the street through the window, and they're just like, no distractions, stay, and just go over it and close off the curtains.
I think as he sees this, he goes, that's fine. I didn't need anything, I guess. And he just kind of keeps wandering around, just trying to like peer into windows and get a sense of the vibe that people are in this morning, that they're so jostled.
Yeah, you'll be able to poke around a few. You see homes that are, perfectly set up, seems to be fine, organized. Maybe a couple places still have some like steaming hot tea on their counters that you can see through the window. But as you find places of business or places with adequate space, you see people just kind of packed in, arm to arm, working on their various crafts. You see leather makers, you see cobblers, you see, blacksmiths like repairing things, handymen, kind of all sorts, but pretty much all indoors. It seems like if the work day started, they're all in their groove by now, but you know that everyone just woke up and ran somewhere about 10 minutes ago as you kind of like walk up and down these streets. But it seems like there's a lot of preparation, a lot of hubbub kind of where you go. And as far as the streets go, pretty quiet. Occasionally you'll off in the distance see kind of a horse and a rider just kind of going in and out of the streetways, just galloping quite quickly. The first time you see them, they have a large bag of flyers or papers. The third or fourth time you see him, it's an empty bag kind of just flapping behind them.
I think probably after the third or fourth time I see him, Cass walks up and is like, hey, what the hell is going on here? Don't people sleep in this town?
Sorry, sir. No, we certainly do. It's just today's a festival day, but we're still obligated to get our work in. So everyone's trying to get in their full hours before noon. So work doesn't wake for the sleeping, and kind of just like giddy ups and starts heading on his way.
I think this prompts Cass to look around and go, "You're all trying to work. Get your work done before the work day." What? And now he's just like,
And as that happens, a door kind of just swings open behind you, and a woman just backing out of the door and like kicks it shut, and she just has a 3-foot by 3-foot tray in her arms that's just stacked with a pyramid of just loaves of long bread. And just kicks the door behind her and goes, "Oh, you're Sicilian?
in the flesh.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you. Oh, sorry. My
Pleasure's mine.
my father, Butch Lloyd. I think you may have stayed his inn on the way into town. He writes about all the travelers and gets us the words. So it's great to hear from you. I'm looking forward to what you might bring to our sleepy little town these days.
You're Butch Lloyd's daughter?
Oh yes, he's the youngins were my kids actually. They're out there for the spring, helping him, learning what that outward life is. Would you mind, as she has dropped a loaf and has it in her crook of her arm, just put it back on top of the pile. Actually, do you want to walk for a bit?
He just takes a ton off the top and takes picks up the bottom side of his cloak, which is again immaculately clean, and he just stacks a bunch of them into his cloak and makes it look like a kind of like a carrying bag just out of the ends of his cloak. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you got a rugged look my father didn't quite capture. I am married though, so let's walk.
I didn't forget it.
No, it's for me. It's my reminder. But yes, no, I just have a delivery to make coming down here. What brings you to town?
Well, I guess a festival now.
Oh yeah, it's quite the sight to be seen. You never quite get used to it, and it's not quite the same every year. So, very excited to have you. And this is actually my stop. Short walk, but a good walk.
Do you need a? Listen, I'll be honest. I was here looking for work. This festival thing has sort of caught me off guard. Do you need a hand with anything?
I don't. If you're looking for work, I think up your alley, be around the town square around noon.
Alley. Okay. Well, here you are. And he kind of tries to sort of smoothly open the basket, and you can tell that maybe he carried more than his load, and a couple of the bread rolls are falling out. And he's like, "Oh, sorry.
We always make extra."
Right. Then you'll mind if I'll just keep one of these?
Oh, please. Least I could do. Happy festival.
Where?
And just kicks twice on a door, and it swings open, and there's just tons of people that cheer and grab her / the bread cart and bring her in, and the door slams shut behind.
Yeah, I think at this point, now that he's getting an idea of everybody working, Cass wants to climb onto the roofs of this town and get a sort of downward look into the back areas of where people are working, if they're working in out back behind buildings and alleyways and all that kind of stuff. I just kind of want to get an overview of the town now that I'm okay, I'm awake, I'm a little bit more conscious. Let me see if I can get a better idea of what's actually happening around me.
Sure thing. Yeah, go ahead and get me a athletics roll to scale one of these buildings.
Oof. 6.
6.
Well, that dice is done for the day.
It's definitely a bit tricky. It's one of those things if you're oh yeah, these aren't the newest, and these aren't completely sheer walls. I'll get on this barrel, I'll get on this fence, and the fence beam kind of buckles a bit, and you're all right, I could continue and potentially hurt myself. I'm still looking for work. Maybe I back down off of this. And you spend a bit of time, and for the next hour or so, it's definitely keeping your ears out for where you might want to spy, climbing up over fences and things like that. And you wander for about 2 or 3 hours. Sun started to come up, and eventually you do kind of find like this ladder pushed up against the side of a building, and you're able to squirrel your way up there and get on these tile-covered roofs, all about between 2.5 stories. So while you're on this block, you can kind of roam around, and down below you do see a courtyard. It looks like this courtyard back behind some of these houses is almost like a shared smithing area, and you can just see all kinds of metal workers. It's jewelers, it's artisans, it's blacksmiths. Everyone's kind of pitching in weird ways. You got, even kids helping out making nails, of just like pulling them out of the fire and throwing them into the water. You got, grandpas working and showing their kids, how to make a fine silver ring and things like that. And there you can sit and kind of watch. In this back courtyard, it's a lot of people you'd thought would be retired, as well as people that shouldn't be working at their ages.
Yeah, I think as Cass sits and like maybe on a bench, and he's kind of stretched out, legs out, and he's eating this bread, he just sort of whispers to himself, "Where did you bring me to this time? And why am I here?"
That's where the camera kind of pans up and shows that rising sun, a small bit of a time lapse as it climbs a little bit higher into the morning, and we come back down on a road leading into town. The outskirts, there's a bit of a city wall off to the side. You can see an orchard in the distance with all sorts of fruit. Plenty of people out there picking away and working. And then as you pan over to the road, you can see a woman and a horse coming in at breakneck speed, just galloping on into town. And as they kind of reach that city wall that's open, seems to be welcoming people, has banners, has few too many guards at it, we do see coming into the shot our second player of the eve, Alondra, Lady Bedivere. Tell us about this woman on horseback.
Rowena Smythe is short-ish. She's about 5'4", but looks like she's known a good day's work in her life. She's pretty well-defined, and she's even a little bulky right now in full leather armor with a shield strapped to her back and a sword at her side. It's a little incongruous because it looks like she's wearing it essentially over work clothes, long, maybe even a men's sort of work shirt, pair of trousers. And long dark hair that's just pulled back in a very simple braid just to keep it from blowing in her face while she rides. As she gets up to the walls of the city, she tries to start gently reining the horse in so that they're not going to go trampling fully into whatever sort of checkpoint might be at this place, and starts to assess her surroundings, kind of get a read on what's going on, why there's so much activity already. Because as someone who is a craftswoman herself, she's used to getting up early in the morning and working, but this seems like a lot of people, even for this time of morning.
Oh, very much so. You've been in the trades a while, and you know that only the hardest workers are up at this hour and have the amount of sweat that these workers have. And as you kind of ride by them, it definitely raises your eyebrow. And the thing that really gets your attention is coming up to the gate, there is 20 guards up at the front, all with smiling faces. They see you approaching. They all kind of stand at attention with their long spears. They all have that unison salute. And then they all say, "Welcome to Daybreak." And then, like, present you forward.
Thank you. Could one of you point me in the direction of nearest inn or any other place where I could maybe stable the horse?
Certainly. As like 3 people go in, and then like someone that has like some more decoration on like their breastplate just kind of like coughs. Absolutely. It's going to be down this road, the third left. Go ahead and take that. There is a nice stable, and that'll actually put you into the backside of an inn. And then from there, you actually have a pretty good view of the town square. The town center. It's not really the center, and it's not really a square. The gathering place that you so choose. It's got the bell tower. There's more buildings on the other side, but this one's a bit more towards the front. Welcome to Daybreak.
Thank you. She's just gonna kind of look around at all this activity. She's a little on edge. This is making her really uneasy, especially the sheer amount of attention that she has already gotten just by arriving. So
Boys, patrols! As the captain taps his long spear, and they just all kind of tent up and break out into groups of 3 and just start marching. Kind of 2 groups are marching back and forth, and then the other 2 kind of just one goes to the right and one goes to the left on the outside perimeter of the wall.
She thinks about asking this guy another question, thinks better of it, just dismounts and walks the horse in, following the directions that he gave her to a stable.
It's a bit of a strange sight. For all the hubbub that you saw on the outskirts of town, the town is pretty quiet. You've never been here. You've heard it's nice. It lives up to the craftsmanship. The walls seem nice. You like a lot of this color. It's not nearly as colorful where you come from. But yeah, these nice pastels, and where there's not color, there's this stark white. Lots of things to catch the light here. Seems to live up to its name. And yeah, you walk through, and when you turn around the corner and can actually see the stable, you can see a line of horses of just horse after horse kind of tied up going the opposite way. And there's just a team of 12 people just reshoeing every horse all the way down the line. There's another team just brushing them. It seems like all of the horses are getting the attention today. And someone kind of just walks up to you and you're like, hi, new in town?
Yes, I just arrived.
Yeah, we can stable your horse here. Do you need a room? Happy to host you.
Yes. I think a room would probably be ideal. That'd be great. Yes.
Great.
There's a lot going on. Is everything? Are you mobilizing or something?
Oh no! It's for a good reason. We have a celebration today, and it's but it's important that we still work. Yeah, it's just a matter of we still need to get a day's work done, but by the time noon comes around, we all want to enjoy the festival. So it's just kind of one of those things of you get up early, you do the work, and then you enjoy twice as much of the day.
Very, very practical.
Yeah. What brings you here? Are you just?
Oh, I just happened to be passing by and needed a place to rest the horse.
Great. Well, if you stay long, good for you. But hopefully, you're off to bigger and better things. Shall I take him? Her? Him?
Him. Farrier. Yes. He just needs to be fed. He doesn't need. I did most of the attention, and he's only just been reshoed and all of that. So just a place where he can take a nap.
Yeah, looks real tired. Yeah, we definitely have an open stable. These are just passing through, doing what we can for the community. And yeah, he pulls up kind of a pad of paper and writes down the description of your horse twice on the same thing, and then rips off the bottom half for you. And there you go. And if you that gives you also a pay up in the inn, and then you also can stay at the inn for better, and it's bulk deal. Cheers, and starts to lead your horse off to one of the stables.
Thank you. She'll just take paper and head into the inn, I guess.
It's an interesting sight coming through that back door. You can hear the kitchen is roarous with clanging, with chopping. The windows are full of overflowing plates of food that people are just kind of grabbing and throwing into boxes and getting them wrapped up. You have people making boxes out of stiff paper off to the side. There is just kind of a bit of a process, just kind of a shorter woman sifts through the crowd, and you're like, hello, do you need a room? We have plenty ready for you, actually. If you just need one, we can get you a bite to eat. I think we have stuff. This is all for later. Can set you up. You look weary. A bit of a rest.
Yes, I think maybe a bit of a rest and a freshen up would probably be about right. I've been riding most of the night. I don't know if you're ever traveled the road coming in, but it gets a little bit
Oh,
wiggity.
too adventurous for my blood. But no, happy to be here. You're more than welcome to wash up. And she like slips away through like a couple of people driving, like just carrying things around the shop, and just kind of slips on back. Here's a key. First door actually slips back, grabs another key, slips back. Last door on your right, that will hopefully keep the noise down. Wash bucket, everything you need will be in there. Should have some fresh water for you. Go ahead and freshen up, and if you like, slips away, comes back with like a wooden folding chair. It's a bit loud in here. Borrow this for the day, and maybe take it to the town square. Might be more your pace. Anyway, we'll settle up when you leave. Cheers. Slips on back into the kitchen and just immediately starts yelling at people and be like, that garbage doesn't go there. That needs to go there. It's coming in here. What do you think this is? Amateur night? And like flips over a bunch of pans and stuff.
Rowena does kind of chuckle to herself. This is very reminiscent of her teenage years working in the tavern. And she's just like, yes, I don't know what's going on, but I know what's going on in there. And just head up to the room to try to like clean up a little bit, and also probably ditch some of the more aggressive looking weaponry and swap things around.
And as you do, you make your way. All of the rooms have the doors cracked. It seems like they're all unoccupied, but you do have a key for the one at the far end on the right. And it matches, it locks. It's just a full keyhole that you can like see through. So you use the key to lock it from both sides. And when you get there and kind of settle into place, you have a nice view of this big courtyard gathering area. The guards seem to mumble about, and it's a bit of a strange occurrence. You can see a couple of groups of people out there. You can see a dwarf kind of leaning up against this bell tower towards the center, just kind of eyeing the rest of the groups. You see a group of about 5 or 6 paladins that all have big, heavy armor, great swords at the ready in front of them, and they all seem to have their heads bowed in prayer. All almost identical as far as armor sets go, tall stature, wide chested. And then you have just various groups of other people in armor with weapons and crossbows and bows over their back that are kind of just kicking a leather ball back and forth to each other. It's not quite an inflated ball. It might be filled with like sand. But yeah, it seems like they're catching it and throwing it back to each other with their feet. Occasionally someone tries to headbutt it and get a bit of a headache. But it seems like there's probably about a dozen adventurers just waiting in the courtyard.
That, again, kind of piques interest, but also concerns her. So I think she decides to skip any sort of rest and just kind of freshens up, switches out her shirt for one that she hasn't been riding in all night, and seeing how heavily armed so many people are in the courtyard, she's just gonna resuit back up with her leathers, strap her shield, grab her sword, tuck her pull her hammer out of her bag and tuck it in, because she's also seen a lot of tradespeople around, so she's not sure what she might need. And she's gonna head out, lock the door behind her, and head to the square to kind of see what the heck is going on.
Sure thing. And it's definitely an interesting sight. You have these like little cliques of people. You've got this loner dwarf who has just the strangest appearance to you. It's just some really basic armor, and then it has just these overly intricate bracers from his wrists to just below his elbows. Just like silvers and coppers line the top of it. And it seems to be like a black tarnished metal underneath, held in by like leather straps. He's got this big black beard with like 4 braids with silver rings that clamp at the bottom to keep it all nice and neat. Kind of short, slicked back hair. But the real strange thing is every piece of visible skin you can see, which would be like the ankles, the hands, the elbows and upper arm area, and even on like the sides of his neck as he kind of walks around, has this black pattern of just these small little lines going back and forth, making kind of these zigzag patterns. And next to each zigzag pattern is another intricate zigzag pattern. They're probably 1/8-inch lines with 1/8-inch gaps between them. Very well done, but like very much heavy line work all up and down with maybe 1/4-inch long pieces of line all kind of sitting into each other of this zigzag pattern wherever you can see. And he just kind of eyes the other group of paladins praying and a group of young-blooded adventurers kicking around some sort of leather sack.
She's gonna walk up to him and just kind of, doesn't want to be too intrusive, but she is intrigued and just kind of, some fine metalwork you got there. Specialty?
Problem solver. G is what my friends call me, and reaches out a hand.
Takes it. Rowena.
I appreciate it. Nice to meet you. Not a lot of people are willing to talk with the likes of a dwarf here.
I mean, always willing to talk to someone who's wearing such fine craftsmanship.
Thank you. Old friend put these together. Served me well over the ages.
Well, must have done. Given how well they're holding up.
I don't mind. I do take good care of them, and they've
Of
been
course.
repaired a time or two. But yeah, it's glad that's what you notice.
Well, spent a lot of my life looking for little details that other people don't notice.
I can appreciate that. The attention really is in the details. Do you mind if I give you a gift?
Sorry?
Yeah, it's just I'm trying to build up my reputation a little bit more. Just a small thing. Did a job and they paid me in pearls, but no one ever wants them. And he like comes out with like this leather like bracelet that has 7 pearls just kind of like inlaid on the top of it, and just it'd mean a lot if you wear that around for me.
She's caught very off guard, and so she's gonna just do her best to crack a joke and just kind of look and be like, "It's not cursed, is it?"
No, it is not cursed. Yeah, I don't know how one would go about proving that. Here, and he like puts it on his wrist, like kind of just up above his bracer a little bit. He's like, none of my hair's fallen out. Still the same shape, and yep, still have the aftertaste of breakfast. So I think we're good.
Well, good enough for me, I guess. Are you sure? This seems like an awfully valuable gift to be given to a stranger.
I've got plenty, and like he actually like does kind of like reach under and he pulls out like 4 or 5 more of these bracelets. Again, pearls are a little too small for someone that actually wants to buy them, and they're a little too big to be ground into materials. So I don't know, trinkets, some goodwill, paying it forward, if you will.
All right. Well, it's very kind of you. If I can do anything for you in return, please let me know. I'm a smith, so horseshoes, armor, anything you can think of. If it's metal, I can hit it. She kind of pats her smith's hammer in her belt.
Will do. I'll look forward to working with you. Not sure when, but I think it'll happen. He like tucks all the bracelets back in. If you don't mind, I'm a bit parched. Grab a pint?
Certainly.
Kind of walk off to the street. As he makes his way down, it seems like there's a window that's just handing out various beverages to people that need them. It's kind of like a watering hole. And the camera will kind of shift away as the two of you walk, and then back down that alleyway that leads all the way back out to that front gate. As the camera goes zooming, we see the sun rise even higher into the sky, almost to that high noon point. And we can see in the lead, our next player just smoking these two women that are also chasing after him in a bit of a leather armor, clanking around with their backpacks. The two girls are just behind him, like, we're gonna be late, we're gonna be late. I'm like, no, we're not, no, we're not, we're gonna be late, we're gonna be late, no, we're not, no, we're not. And you just got like 10, 15 feet easy on them, not as much as a sweat as Zep. Who do we see leading the charge of this flying V?
Yeah, so you see running up to Daybreak is Hunted Jewel, who is a tabaxi. If you don't know what tabaxi look like, he is a cat boy. Dark tabby patterned long fur, about 21 years old, wearing what basically amounts to well-traveled Jedi robes that looks like he is just finished walking across the continent. He's energetic, curious, definitely to a fault.
And yeah, that energeticness, that curiosity kind of ran you into a late night gab session with the two behind you. They're twin adventuring women about your age. You were actually able to meet up with them last night in the tavern you happened to stay out in Aria. And you just got to talking. They had all these strange stories of different cities and lands, and kind of just were swapping tales with them all night until you realized, oh, it's 3 a.m. And then you, of course, overslept. And then you realized, oh no, that means I'm late for leaving, and that means I need to put a step on it. So of course, the three of you are all like, well, I'm the fastest, I'll get there first. And so the sprint from out of town started as early as possible, and you've been going at it for quite a few hours. The other two are very much winded, very sweaty, and this is one of the longer runs you've done, but it is worth it. You know what is ahead of you. You know about this festival, and you're excited to get there. And as you come to, you can see lots of people frantically like moving big barrels. It seems like it's almost time. You know that it's almost high noon, that this could kick off at any moment. And you can see, you know, those 20 or so guards can see all three of you kind of running, and they've tapped their spears and they're in ready position. And as you come up, they salute you.
Hunted Jewel just immediately stops as he sees the glint of one of those fine looking spears, and he stops and looks back and looks and sees all the other the other two are running up, and he looks back and kind of like touches the spear as it's kind of like held out, and is like, hey, you guys see any action with this? This looks pretty clean. And he's like rubbing his finger on it.
Finest craftsmanship. We actually get a new one every year. Then we recycle the metal and turn it into other things. So this one, not yet. Fingers crossed it doesn't.
So is your plate here? And he taps his chest. Was that a spear?
That was a fang, actually. Pack of wolves a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's interesting. I love seeing how people do things on this side. Oh God, they're catching up. Point me to the center of town.
Winning. Right down that way. You can actually see the bell tower. We'll see you there.
Okay, great. Yeah, this is gonna be great. Hey, and I'm gonna remember you when I win. All right, I'll see ya. And he runs straight towards the middle, and just doesn't care what the guards think, doesn't look back to see if the two women are catching up or anything.
Two women are maybe 20 or 30 feet away. Like, you did get some ground at that last with that excitement of a sprint, and they kind of just keep jogging around like, we're going to. As they also kind of jog and follow, because they don't, more importantly, they don't want to lose to each other. As twins, they definitely have that rivalry. And you come charging into town, and right as you kind of get to the end there, out of like the last possible door kind of flies open, and this woman just with this cart, or not so much a cart, but like a giant tray of just beer stein, 3 high pyramid, comes toting out and is like, all right, refills will be. And she just turns around and is just right in your path. Give me a dex save to see if you come crashing into this.
Baseball slide.
Baseball slide? That's the goal?
A 22.
Ooh. Nice. Yeah, you definitely come running. You're still in the full sprint. She has that surprised and like is just shrugging and like bracing for impact, and it's just enough to like bring up her apron so you don't get caught on it, to actually just baseball slide underneath, and yeah, you're able to keep on going into it. Nonetheless, she does just kind of like drop everything anyway, and just like oh, and she just goes, as you're running away, you're like, Jules.
Yeah. No, that's me. Do I know you?
Oh no, you you had drinks with my father. I'm Lara Lloyd, Butch Lloyd, my dad.
Oh,
he's watching my kids.
Your dad's Master Lloyd?
Yeah. He wrote about you, and I've heard great things. I think you're bound for glory.
Oh, hey, me too. And thanks for. When I make it, I'm gonna replace all those mugs. Look, I'm really sorry.
Oh, don't worry about those. We have extras, and honestly, they were cracked beforehand. And she like starts putting them back up, and she just like looks up. Ladies, will you help me? And just like gathers them together immediately, so you can go finish touching the bell tower to win your race.
Cool, thanks. It's good to meet you. Right back to Master Lloyd that I made it. I know he said he was worried about me, but I told him there was nothing to worry about. Okay, bye.
And just kind of waves you off as she's like just strong arming these other two adventurers, kind of like pirouetting them back. Like, no, I do need the help. I really do. Thank you. You're such good adventurers. And as you kind of come skidding into town, you see a strange array of people. You've definitely touched the tower. You've won your race. And yeah, this doesn't feel like a festival. There's a circle that has their backs to everyone of some paladins that's grown to about 8 or 9 people, all with their like large claymores in front of them in prayer. You got a group of maybe 10 or 12 adventurers that are kicking around some sort of sack filled with rice. And you have this dwarf kind of like off in the corner and just seems to be chatting with a woman periodically. Seems like they're struggling for small talk, but the thing that catches your eye, the paladins, you've kind of seen some on the road. You've never seen a dwarf. And this dwarf looks bizarre. He's got those strange lines all up and down him. You're fairly certain dwarves do not have fur or pattern. It's a bit strange. And more importantly, he has these very intricate, like, master quality bracers that look like, a relic. And then he's got like your standard leather whatever armor on. Well-groomed beard, slicked back hair, but
yeah, I definitely want to run.
One of the stranger things.
I want to run straight up to the dwarf and the woman, and I just want to just kind of like butt in, almost like stand in front of the woman, and just kind of like look back at her and the dwarf. So, when's the tournament start?
Yeah, I don't.
Yo, Dusty.
Hitting the raid.
Yo, what is up, Dusty? Welcome on in, everyone, from Dustin's stream. If you guys don't know, I played Melee Ball with good old Dusty Parsons. What a great guy. Everyone, go give him a follow right now. It takes 5 seconds. Everybody, welcome on in. We are the Torpid Gaming Network. We are a variety channel, and on Tuesdays, we play D&D. It is 11 Fates, our original 5e campaign. Reader's Digest Bonk, go.
Welcome. You're here for our first session of our long-term homebrew original 5e D&D campaign. So far, we've introduced our heroes. They have all gathered in the town of Daybreak, and in this world, they are in a land where the gods walk among us, also known as the 11 Fates. They guide the mortals, they interact, and so far what we've discovered is there's a festival in town, and yet everyone is working since about 4 a.m, incessantly trying to fit a full days of work in, and there is another raid.
Yo, welcome on in, everybody else.
And welcome indeed. We are playing 11 Fates. It is our first episode of our long-running campaign. We've been working on it for weeks and months and have a lot of preps. We're really excited and choked up to get to share it with all of you. So welcome. We've gotten some character intros in, and if you are excited, we will be dropping some podcasts, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, so you can get caught up. And welcome. You actually join us at an interesting time. Our Tabaxi monk friend here just won a foot race into town just before noon. He knows that he's running late for something. Not sure if everyone else does. And he came sliding into town and approached a strange dwarf. Dwarfs seem to not be very common here, and this dwarf is extra strange. He has these intricate tattoos on every visible part of his skin below his beard. Big, magnificent beard, 4 braids tied together with silver ingots. And then he's got some really fancy bracers on of silver, copper, black tarnished metal. And our young Tabaxi friend came charging up. And what did you ask this man?
So Hunna Jewel just runs up kind of right between the woman and the dwarf, looks over at the woman, and then looks at the dwarf kind of like up and down, notices the bracers and all the tattoos, and then, hey, when does the tournament start?
I don't think you understand how this works. There's not so much a tournament, it's more of just a selection process. But I like the enthusiasm.
No, this is definitely a tournament. I'm gonna win. What is it? Like, is it like talents? Is it fighting? I heard it can be. I heard it can be crazy. Hey, wait, what, ma'am? Do you do anything?
I'm sorry. I do many things. I'm a blacksmith.
Good horse rider.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, and whoa, those bracers, can I touch? They're so nice. Can I touch them? And he just reaches out and like tries to like feel them. Yeah, and I've kind of like run my hands down them. What do they feel like, Mark?
They're quite
wow.
They're quite warm to the touch, actually. You'd expect them to be cold, and you kind of realize that it's very thin metal, and it's actually been pressed up against his skin for who knows how long. They're very tightly bound onto his forearms. But so you can actually feel his body heat kind of through them. It's silver, it's copper, it's this thin blackened metal. It looks awesome, and it really does kind of bring out and draw even more attention to all those small intricate lines you see up and down his arms, and like he kind of holds it out, and you can actually see those tattoos run up and around his fingernails, even onto his palms. Appreciate the attention these bracers are given. thanks. I think the embellishments are really working. You seem bright-eyed and eager. How about a good luck charm?
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great. Hey, I'm searching. I've been sent here on a quest. It's one I'm trying to find a cure for the Hunt Elder. Have you heard of the Diaspora? The town?
I have. I've been there a few times.
Oh, it's great. Look, there, but
a bit too humid for me, but I enjoyed my time there.
But look, our elder, he's sick, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
I was picked to go help him find a cure, and yeah, not that I need it, but I can take any luck that you're willing to give.
Do you know what ails him? And he does pull out from one of his bracers just a leather bracelet that has 7 small pearls on it, and hands it over to you.
Yep, I grab it and clutch it in my hand. Look, we know that it's magic. None of the clerics in Diaspora can heal him. They've tried, so they've sent 11 of us out to try and find a cure, and I'm going to be first.
I bet you will. That enthusiasm hasn't broken your spirit on such a long travel. So I think you already have a good start.
So do I wear this? Do I put it in the pocket? Do I put it? Do I put it on my? What do I do?
Wear it any way you see fit. If you want to
Here.
extend it.
Rowena's gonna reach out and kind of grab it and take kind of Jules' hand and just knot the bracelet around for him.
Oh, thanks.
Just like that.
Oh yeah, this looks great. I love this.
And it's at this point you kind of both notice that the group of adventurers that was kicking the sack around to each other are all kind of just staring at your group of 3. And in the back, there's definitely a gnome just with his mouth just actually open. And sees all 3 of you kind of just look over at him, and everyone else just kind of gets back to it. And he just turns around with the ball and throws it up into the air, and they all get back to what they were doing and slowly migrate further away from you.
What's up with that guy?
I have a bit of a reputation. The trinkets are to hopefully help that. I haven't had 2 people start a conversation with me in 150 years. Well, in the same day, just not in general. I clearly know how to speak well.
Oh, you're quite well spoken. That's a bit surprising.
Yeah, I guess it would be surprising for some folk. I always appreciate the fresh blood that comes through.
Maybe I should have asked what kind of reputation you had before I took your bracelet then.
One I'm working on changing. Don't worry, no one associates that with me, but goodwill from a strange fellow. Hopefully it helps. But no, tell me you regale me about this tournament that you think is going to take place. And as you get all excited and kind of bound up, where the camera's going to just swing up to one of the roofs, as so you've been able to shift on your roof a bit to the town square, where it seems like a lot more action's been taking place.
Sorry, I'm caught off guard. So I got onto a roof.
You did get onto a roof,
okay,
and that's where you looked onto that courtyard. You eventually wandered until you found a good climbing point, which came in the form of a ladder and a small jump up on top of these 2-story roofs. And you've kind of circled those blacksmiths and have kind of had this venture point. Every once in a while for the last couple hours, people have, popped out of a door, rushed down a few more, popped back in very quickly. It doesn't seem like there's much time for meandering. A couple of the younger kids spotted you on the roof at one point, got distracted, and their elders kind of pushed them back to work. And that's kind of been the case. They wave, they're polite, but they're not really willing to engage in small talk and fraternization.
But I am now overlooking the courtyard, right? So I see the
Yeah,
paladins, and I see the adventurers playing with the leather sack, and I see Rowena and Hunted Jewel, I should say.
Yeah, you see them talking with a dwarf. You can see just this big group of people. You saw the weird interaction of where everyone kind of just got slack-jawed and agape when a tabaxi ran through town, touched a tower, walked over to the only dwarf that's here, and then immediately started accosting him, his like forearm, and like knocking on his thing. And everyone just kind of like held their breath for a moment and just watched them do weird intros, and then they all turned around and they like went back to like a very rapid version of the game they were playing, and like proceeded to get more room away.
And I think that like with kind of one leg hanging off the edge, is kind of Cass is looking over and he's going, and what are you? And I will jump off the roof and walk over to this dwarf.
Great. You've been up there a while. You've been able to plan out your kind of landing area, and you're able to like kind of do the Assassin's Creed jump on down, and kind of like where there's been some like loose hay and things like that. You're like, oh yeah, worked out.
Good. At least it's not a superhero landing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever want a superhero landing.
Nice.
Bad
Yeah,
for your knees.
Real bad for the knees. But yeah, you definitely kind of like jump down a bit more graceful, and like are immediately able to like hop up into like a nice stroll, and you kind of split that group of nervous adventuring parties, where it seems like these two women eventually came running through. It looks like twins came in, touched the tower. They seem to be in a bit of an argument, and then they see someone they recognize and go and join the other group. But yeah, you stroll on through this strange cast of characters.
And I think that like as I'm strolling, I probably try and like get into the game with the leather sack a little bit, but I totally biff it and like knock it away, maybe even a little bit further than they were originally. And then I want to walk up to the back of this dwarf and kind of look over him, but bend over to his shoulder and be like, "Are you causing conflict?"
It's rude to approach a stranger from behind.
Well, if I had a weapon, you'd know, wouldn't you?
True. I'm sorry I didn't catch your name.
Stands up and he says, "And seemingly none of the rest of these people caught your name, or they already know your name."
G is what friends call me. Introduce myself to this one. This one we hadn't got around. He was telling me about this grand tournament he expects to take place today.
A tournament?
Yeah.
And this is when finally he like Cass sticks out his hand and says, "Caecilian die drove."
G. And he'll go ahead and take your hand.
Is there a prize with this tournament?
Guaranteed work, good pay, perks, bonuses. Again, I'm sorry to burst the bubble. It's not so much a tournament. It's more of a raffle based on potential and spirit.
So we're here for a lottery.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, we've all are pretty much entered. I know I didn't put in a day's worth of work.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, yeah, if you're in city limits when the festival starts and haven't put in a day's worth of work, you're up to be chosen as one of the champions.
What? Wait, no one told me about this. What time is it?
We're we're about high noon. And that's when we kick off. I'd say you got about 2 minutes. I mean, here comes the bell ringer now.
Right.
And he like looks over his shoulder, and there's like this like younger guy like with like a bit of an entourage behind him, and he's got like these nice scarves on. He's like, I'm the bell ringer this year. Oh, as he's like walking up and headed towards that bell tower.
Rowena has fully like jumped up out of her seat and is like, you can see her doing the mental calculations of like, do I have time to run to the stables, get on my horse, and get out of here before that guy gets to the tower, and quickly realizing she does not.
I think Cass probably pops up and says, well, there's no real prize in a raffle, a tournament of raffles, and a tournament of lottery.
No tournament really. It's just kind of a selection process.
But there's winners.
Well, it sounds like it's
Yeah, usually a dozen. Never been a dwarf selected. Been here 60 odd years and still haven't been selected.
Whoa.
and we are selected to be champions.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. You know, the fated, the fates really kind of just, you know what? It's about that time. I think it's better if you just observe at this point. As
I
the
think
first bell rings. Sorry, you were saying you got about 11 more.
No, I think Cass stands up and says, I think that's just means it's time for me to leave. And he gets up and like gives everyone just a short, brief wave. Like, I've done this gig before.
You don't want to win?
You know, it's not about winning.
2,
Sometimes it's about staying alive, and Rowena's gonna head for the stables.
3. Yeah, you both kind of like wave and like bound off. The 4th bell rings. The 5th comes in after. It's at about the 6th where you get to almost the edge of the courtyard as you're power walking. And on that 6th bell, kind of all the doors swing open at the same time. And now the streets are just elbow to elbow packed with people. And they all have like mugs of beer, pieces of bread, sandwiches, little flags with like light bursts on them. You can see the symbol of a 6-pointed star that's been like tie-dyed, and it has like a black pentagon in the center. And everyone's just into the streets. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh, there is a wall of people in front of me as the 7th bell rolls, and you're almost just pushed back towards the center with just waves of people. 8th bell tolls, there's cheering, there's music, like there's horns blaring. 10, 11, it's just ringing, and on the 12th toll, everyone goes silent. There's just that bit of a moment. The dwarf like scoffs a little bit. And then just from above the bell tower, blinding light in just a flash. And then you're just automatically like can see again. And above the tower, about 15 feet, is a 7.5 foot tall woman that is in these beautiful blue, sky blue robes that you swear the edges turn to the shades of dusk and dawn. Her hair is that platinum blonde that you only get from a thin cloud blocking the sun. She's got golden eyes and just radiates hope. And for any of you who've bothered to open up a book about the history here, a book about religion, is unmistakable that this is the god of light that has descended and is here for the festival to select her champions. And with a wave of her hand, an eruption of cheers take place as a glow emanates from each of you. A red glow. Off to the side, there's a yellow glow from a group of paladins, and within the group of the adventurers, there's a few that have a blue glow to them. The dwarf scoffs again, throws his hands up. fakes throwing a dagger up at the god, just kind of turns around and walks away. A path clears for him, and the goddess, god of light, the fate, comes and stands, larger than life, seen above the crowd. Ah, well, I guess it's time to cast some fates. Whole crowd erupts. They see people near them that are glowing with this light almost from the inside that have their own, and the three of you are a bit shocked to see kind of a red glow coming from you, and people just kind of pick you up and crowd surf you back towards the front, and seemingly you're all assembled and pushed and pulled into like these various shapes. And so you have your cluster of 3 people in red, and you have all 3 of you are next to each other now, and you look across to you from you, and you can see another 8 people. You have 5 that are in blue and 3 that are in gold. You've got 3 of the paladins, 5 of the adventurers. The twins you ran with are actually in that group there, Jules.
In the blue group?
In the blue group. It's a bit of a shock. It's a bit of an awe. There's lots of cheering. You're all assembled, and a small hand comes up from the fate. Everything's quiet again. Welcome, all. It's been an interesting year, but we make progress nonetheless. With a gentle hand and many gifts, we want to improve the quality of life here, and those before you have the spirit and the soul for greatness. Think these are heroes among you, ready to advance and to protect and to really inspire those that need it. There's a big cheer as this kind of speech starts up. With a wave of the hand, the gold light dissipates from the small group of paladins. For you 3, brave journey calls you to the north. There's a bevy of spirits beginning to stir deep in the sea, and have begun to make their way towards the coast. We have time, and you have resources. Do what you can, fortify the beaches. And when they arrive, drive them back. You have my blessing and our hopes. And everyone just like cheers, all super excited. The other paladins kind of like get up behind them and like salute. They all like find their helmets from like their respective bags, put them on, tap them on, and the 3 that were in the lead give like a salute, a cheer, and they just turn and start marching off. Someone is in like robes and just like the mark of the gods, that 6-bursted star along with a pentagon, comes kind of bustling out behind them and has like 3 like wooden boxes full of things and goes charging after them. The crowds clear. Some follow in behind them and follow them off town and play music as everyone like cheers. And another great quest has started. And the most dangerous quest is next. These heroes will need your support, for they do need to act quickly. And gives a wave of the hand as the blue light descends from the group of 5. It's the very worried-looking gnome, the twin human sisters. You can see them brandishing crossbows. What looks to be an orc shaman, just covered in leathers, furs, antlers, and horns of strange animals you haven't seen, as well as a elf with a very thick book and some light adventuring gear. And they stand at the ready. Wave of the hand. You 5 have the most perilous quest, but the faster you act, the safer it will be. A vile beast to the west stirs, and it may threaten many if not dealt with soon. A chimera grows, twisting and turning, adapting from the land quite rapidly. You'll need to seek this beast out, and its lair has been marked here. And like out of the sleeve descends like a rolled up scroll to one of them. It's been marked, and I've given you the information I can. You'll have the necessary supplies provided, but go with haste. Who will give these adventurers a horse? And like a bunch of people cheer and like run back to go get like their horses and things like that. And they get kind of a big bandwagon, and like probably like half the crowd ends up leaving with them, kind of like carrying them off, super excited, horns, whistles, all sorts of things. It's a bit smaller of a crowd for you three, and the goddess of light turns, and you three. Waves of the hand, and the red comes off of you. We're definitely the most eclectic group of adventurers, but I think your fates will be intertwined quite nicely. For you, a matter of the city. As like, with just that word, everyone is like, yes, thank you. We all know what this is about.
What does that mean?
And like one of the kids that's next to you, you're like, you're going to help the town, sir? And the goddess of lights, one of my heralds will show you the details and where to go about your business. But there is a elemental scourge that seems to have entered the city that needs to be dealt with to start the process over again. You'll be doing great work. And with it comes great rewards. I can sense that you may be in the dark about some of our ongoings. For you, 3 boxes, as like another person in robes with the same symbol kind of walks up to you and hands you like 3 wooden crates. And in it is maps, documents, pins, badges. It's a bevy of knickknacks, seemingly. You all kind of get the gist of it. There are adventuring guilds in all of your cities, and these are the symbols you've seen universally. They're a bit strange to behold and have so close, of these various badges, sigils stamped with things. Not an easy road to become an adventurer. There's probably about 500 golds worth of fines and trainings and stuff that would normally be paid to get this sort of equipment, and it's been handed to you in a well-crafted wooden box with the mark of the gods. You 3, full-fledged adventurers, but your adventure won't take you far. It's the city infrastructure that needs your help today, and a huge cheer comes from everyone. They're like, yes, all so excited. As another like older kind of crotchety guy in like some metal armor comes through, is like, I will assist, and like does a deep kneel and a deep bow. Thank you. And for the elders, as like a group of like fancily like robed people come out and are very excited and like bow graciously. Some more plans that may help you in the future. And with like a wave of the hand, kind of scrolls appear in all of them to help guide you. For the rest, you've all put in a great day's worth of work. But for some, the work has just begun. A life of adventure, meaningful call to action, and a strange fate is among us. And just tons of cheering. People start kind of going away, and the god of light just kind of comes up into the air and observes, and there's people like throwing flowers into the air, but it seems like people have started to disperse. There's a guy there in like robes as well as some light armor with the symbol, and he's like, I'm here to, show you the business that you're to attend to. It's a church matter. We help run the infrastructure.
Cass sets the box down and yells up to the goddess, and what if we refuse?
And that definitely draws a lot of attention. Like there are crowds of people that just kind of like, oh, what? And kind of like, come on back. And the guy is also giving you kind of like a weird look, and she descends back down.
And like I kind of put my hands up, and I go, I've done this dance with you gods. With less blood on my hands and experience in my life, what if I refuse?
You're not selected for my needs. You're not selected for my siblings' needs. Standing next to you are two people that you have a chance to save.
I'm not sure I really need saving.
I think there's been a mistake here. I'm already part of a guild. I'm not an adventurer.
I understand the mixed motives for your arrival here, and I also know that you may not want to be adventurers. But there is threads that bind us. I and my siblings, the Fates, we've never claimed to be omniscient. We see sparks, and we see threads. Whether you like it or not, three of you are connected. And the three of you alone are in the position to help each other. And not just for your own needs, but for those around you. The journey you take on today, and all we ask of you for now, is to help this city run, to help the infrastructure. The system is broken and needs correcting. And with the skills you earn from this trial, will set you up for the next trial, be it something that the gods see as a way to advance your society, or be it something you hold true to your hearts. It is what drive you, is it not? The heart?
I don't understand everything that you're saying, but it's really inspiring. But what do we get? And he kind of like looks over at Rowena and Cass. If we get rid of this scourge, I'm looking for something really particular.
Yes. Boons and gifts do come to successful champions. For instance, in your box covers all of your adventuring needs. Licenses, regulations, small trinkets that might prove useful in your journeys. Upon completion, you have free stay of the town. You've helped this town. Everyone here will be indebted to you. Meals, board, horses for travel, wherever your adventures may take you next. It comes with admiration, and it does come with pay. The church is here, and their coffers are filled, and an award can be granted to you.
I mean,
Rowena's gonna reach over and like kind of gently touch Cass's arm to get his attention.
You touch him on a bracelet that like jingles. It's the same bracelet the two of you have.
And I'm gonna kind of look and just very quietly under my breath, just kind of say, maybe we just do the one, then we get out before anyone asks us for another.
Caecilian hears her, but like very obviously is not talking to her when he says, "Is this your doing?" And he like bends over and picks up the crate, and he starts just kind of walking back to get out from the center of the crowd. Picks up the.
Great. Can all of you get me a perception check?
would love to. It's a 19.
12.
21.
Nice. Let's start with the lowest number first, because you all do see something. Cass, you go and like pick up your box after your little murmuring to yourself, and there underneath your box is definitely just the tiniest of dandelion where your box is, where your box was. It's just a small little thing that seems to have cracked through what is a pristine road. As you just like get your box, pick it up, and carry on your way. For the other two of you, you see G, the dwarf, off in the crowd with the people, all kind of watching on about the group of adventurers that almost turned down the call of the gods. And you can see him from behind just make this hand gesture that feels like the unmistakable hand gesture of a knife being thrown. And it's just arced up, and nothing leaves his hand. But it's just this strange gesture you get. And a moment later, with his arm extended out, he seems to catch it. This invisible, like mimed knife takes it and like puts it into his chest pocket.
Can I tell what it looked like he was aiming at? Was he aiming at the god?
He was aiming at the god. There is only thing that high up. She's, 2 or 3 feet off the ground. She's 7.5 feet tall. She's this larger than life figure. Unless he was aiming for the bell tower, which like kind of lines up with the position, he was aiming for her head. Aiming for with just a weird pantomime.
Rowena's gonna grab her crate, and she's literally gonna like grab it and like one arm it up onto her shoulder, probably with no problem, and kind of like glance up at the goddess with just a look of sheer, this better be worth it because I don't want to do this. And I'm gonna head in the direction that G is.
And Cass kind of looks around, seeing he's kind of the last one, and starts like pull it.
Jules?
Yeah, that's what I said. Jules, not Cass, of course. Nestor, your character name is Jules now. I'm Cass.
Great.
Noted. Yeah, and so Jules looks around and goes to like kind of pick up the crate. How large is the crate?
It's probably like 2 cigar boxes deep, and then about a cigar box in size. You kind of open it up, and there's like medals, badges, stacks of papers. It looks like a bunch of bureaucracy in a box.
Okay, and Cass kind of like looks through, puts it away, looks around at the crowd of people. Hey, we took the offer. Which one of you guys is going to have a round of drinks waiting for us when we get rid of this fucking scourge? Make some freaking noise.
The crowd that like did what, it just erupts. The dwarf kind of just scoffs. And he's like, I'll get the first round, and just like throws a bag up into the air, and you can see Laura Lloyd just like dive forward and grab it, and you're like, my pub in an hour, and just like runs off with that group of people. And like dwarf kind of just looks back and gives you a wink and heads off to the pub.
Yeah, and Jules is kind of just like basking in this, doing like a talk show host intro, kind of just like, and then kind of just like realizes that everyone else has left and just kind of like goes, oh shit, and then like scampers back after the rest of the group.
There's like a collection of like the elders who have like gotten very close and are like asking questions about all the information, and she's like descended now and is like looming over them and like going over city planning details and like new technology and things like that. And she just kind of like looks up as you all are away and just gives like a faint little wave of her fingers. Fills you with a little bit of hope, but you're like, I hate this nonetheless. Yeah, this grumpier guy just kind of juggling to himself. I've never seen someone try to deny the gifts of the gods, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm going with you. This is gonna be great. Oh, we didn't talk about it back there just because it's not the most pleasant of business, but the city's really excited for it. We have an elemental that was cooperating and has just kind of gone off the rails a little bit. So we're going to go in, take care of it, and then everything should flow again. But Church doesn't have that type of manpower, but thankfully we have adventurers once a year. So this one just lines up. Did this, about 9 years ago. Had to just kind of refresh the cycle for us. It's just down this way as he's starting to take you down like thinner and thinner alleys.
I'm sorry, I just want to be explicitly clear here. I showed up in town and just got chosen by a god to flush your sewer system. That's what happened?
Correct. Yes, you we're going into the sewers, and we refer to it as the sewer elemental. It's a water elemental that just kind of helps everything move and stuff. We usually have a good wrangle on them, but this one's gone a bit rogue. It took out the last caretaker. So
I'm sorry, it did what now?
Oh yeah, we have someone like go down, just check the equipment that keeps it in line, and it got ambushed and tracked down, and now the sewers have been backed up for 3
Cyrus
weeks.
and fate, this is going to be a nightmare. All right, let's go.
The smell's not that bad. It's
That's
actually
not what I'm
iced
worried
off
about.
most of the sewage, but like once we break that up, it's going to be kind of gnarly. I got a pick for it though. Yeah. Clearing out the sewers. It ain't glamorous, but it's got to get done. And it's also a little bit more dangerous than you'd think. Yeah, we're almost there. Questions, comments, concerns?
Any comments? None for polite company.
Understandable.
When you say dangerous, like how like a bar is dangerous, or like there's weird like sharp things down there.
There may be some sharp things. Mostly, though, it is compressed rogue magical energies that have taken on the form of a natural occurring element. And normally, when these types of things occur in city grounds, we have those obelisk things, the thing that the bell tower was built over. Yeah, that helps us control any sort of elementals in town. And then we got these guys. And he holds up like this black orb with like a strip of silver that has an engraved like symbol of the gods, a 6-bursted star with a pentagon in the middle. He's like, yeah, we got these guys too. Elemental control orbs, ecos. And these guys, they can help us, direct them, give them simple tasks like clearing out the sewers, repeat this action until you're dead. They don't die though, they're kind of eternal. But every once in a while they start acting strange, and then they need to be broken up. Yeah, they're pure magical energy in the form of an element, but everything gets hurt when you stab it. So yeah, we're gonna go in, take care of the issue, and then time has told us in a week or two, another small elemental will be born in the large body of water that is the sewers, and we'll start the process over again. Another 10 or 12 years, we'll have to do it again. So you got the short straw, but you still got a straw.
Straws I've been drawing these days seem to be getting shorter and shorter.
Sorry to hear that. But again, smell, not that bad. It's been building up some ice. It's covered up. So just be careful. Try not to fall in the water. Yeah, real low key water elemental, a little bit of frost buildup. Try to break off the frost as much as you can. If it builds up, it's just a little bit more dangerous.
Yeah, sounds easy.
Should be straightforward. Just keep your guard up. You kind of know what we're going into. They're usually, you know, about the size of a horse, but they're not in the shape of a horse. It's kind of like a big orby blob. They like whip out at you with their tendrils and stuff. But honestly, the more we break up its connection with its form, you know, get your knives, get your hands in there, rip it up a bit, it'll eventually break up the magic that it is and start the cycle over again.
All right. Yeah.
Right.
I think that's good enough. Hey, wait, Cass, Rowan, have you guys ever tussled with one of these things before?
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Diaspora. It's all the way across the continent. It's a massive city in a forest, and
Cass walks away. Like,
Rowena just kind of looks at him and goes, most of my life was breaking up bar fights, so an elemental is a little out of my comfort zone. But, you know, I'm very good at breaking things in general, and she just pulls her smith's hammer out of her belt and kind of like tosses it, catches it, and just heads after Cass.
Oh, so cool. And he kind of just like saunters behind them.
Yeah, and you come up to a nice grated door, very heavy iron, and yeah, the guy fumbles around with a bit of keys, turns, unlocks it, like, all right, about 20 yards down, I'll open up another gate, and you can look down at the gate, and it seems to actually have like 3 orbs split in half that seem to be facing the other way that are mounted in the door of these ecos, the elemental control orbs. He's like, it acts as a kind of a barrier, make sure it doesn't just, you know, flood on up into the streets. But we're going to open up that door, take care of it. You're going to see those kind of around, make sure it stays down in the sewers, doesn't leak up anywhere. But just stay on your toes. We're going into its home, so probably has a bit of advantage. I'll lead the way. And he heads on down, large clink of a lock. This one seems a bit more secure. He gets another key out, twists that one too, and is able to like pull the door open. He's like, pull it behind you, with the last one in. And like walks on in, and there's about 15 feet and then like a half pipe worth of like this frosted over water, and then another 15 feet on the other side. Connected by this half pipe, you assume, you're not really sure how deep down it goes, but this seems to be kind of like the waterway. Off to your right, there's just a grated wall that has these orbs sticking out, but is also covered in frost, and just the walls themselves are covered in frost. It seems like this water elemental has fashioned up some strangeness. And even more so that's strange is when you walk in on the far wall, you can see the word Cynthia, not in ice, just perfectly off the wall. You can see Cynthia written in a very elegant, very nice cursive script on the far side of the wall. Oh, that's strange.
I assume it's not supposed to be like that.
I've never known one of these things to be able to write, let alone fancy schooling script, let alone, you know, any sort of raised. And he just kind of like looks down, and the entire wall of ice that was behind you has now just broken off and just been formed into a spire and just shot through the backside of this guy, as he has about 6 inches of ice that is now red sticking out of the front of his chest. And he kind of just flops on forward and just cracks on through into some like brownish murky water, and is just face down, not breathing in the water. And as you turn around, it like forming back behind you is like this orb with like 8 or 9 legs supporting it down, and then it's got like 4 whips of water above it. And we're gonna go into combat. Can I get some initiative rolls?
Are you sure we're in combat?
question.
Absolutely.
May I have already pulled my shield off and gotten it onto my arm, or do I need to take my first turn to do that? Okay.
No, you definitely have your shields. You definitely were aware of the danger coming on down. You're not so much surprised. I mean, this guy was surprised. But that was kind of like the one attack it had from laying in wait, and it chose to go for the guy in the fanciest looking gear.
Fair enough. I just realized I hadn't actually declared that, so I wanted to confirm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to paint the picture as you get in your initiative, as you all kind of turn around, you do see this orb of water that kind of ripples and bellows and is like lashing out about it. But as you turned, like, there is no more frost on this side of the wall. All of the frost on over the like river of sewage going through here has like been broken off, and this thing is just clear, pristine water at this point. And let's get an initiative order. Anyone in the 20 to 25 range? Anyone roll that fat nat? We're level 1. I shouldn't start that high. 15 and above. Double digits.
10.
13.
Right.
14.
All right, so we got Rowena on 14. We've got S on 13. And that was a 10 for you, Jules?
Yeah, Jules is 10.
Great. Ugh. And that's going to start us off with Rowena.
Excellent. I'm going to shield up, run up to this thing, and take a swing with my longsword.
Excellent.
Seems like a good idea, given the situation. That is a spicy 20 to hit.
Great, that connects.
God, I haven't wielded a sword as a character in so long, I don't remember what my damage die is.
Is a spicy 20 a critical hit?
No, I'm trying to get away from dirty 20 because I feel like it's overused. So I'm just trying out other ways of saying a non-natural
Don't substitute
20.
spicy.
Yeah, I feel like spicy is
delicious
good.
and flavorful and good.
It's a very sassy way of getting a 20 without rolling a 20. It's spicy.
Yeah, a 20 is still good, even if it's not natural.
It just doesn't give me bonus damage. However, I did roll max damage, so that will be 11.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
We'll allow it.
I would hope so. I'm about to save your life with my shield at some point.
Excellent. Yeah, you run up, and as you sink your sword into this thing, you just have that crazy thought of, this doesn't feel right. But also, it does feel right in a weird way. Like, as the sword like enters in, you can tell that you're disrupting it. There is a large ripple, as well as it doesn't feel like you're dipping your sword in water. You've dipped dozens and dozens, if not hundreds and hundreds of weapons into water to cool them off. This is almost like a gel or some sort of thick, viscous material, and as you pull it out, it's definitely easier than when it went in. You are definitely causing this thing some serious damage with, max damage. Anything else you would like to do with your turn? You probably took about a 5-foot step to actually engage in on this thing. Anything else you'd like to get done?
No, I'm just gonna post with my shield.
Excellent. And that will bring us up to Cass.
I think Cass sees this guy get stabbed and fall into the water, and immediately sort of tries to like grab for him and pull him onto like a concrete ledge, or like something like a ledge that's nearby that that's maybe not like directly in the sewer, so we don't lose his body underwater. And then in one motion, draws his sword and swings at the ice block, because we're all in pretty tight quarters, right?
Yeah, you're basically on like a 15-foot gangplank of space, and it runs pretty wide. But yeah, this thing basically popped up 10 feet behind you, was in line with this one guy, took the shot, and got it there. And so you're able to you're more than able to go in, kind of just flip him up / drag him out. And he definitely has like that pale, open-eyed look you've seen a few times before, and you come on back with a slash. Go ahead and roll the hit.
21.
That's gonna hit.
For 7 damage, and then I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark.
Excellent. This is a point of clarity. This is our first adventure. New characters, level 1. You can use Hunter's Mark before you make your attack as a bonus action.
Okay, that's
And
fine.
It's the first combat with these characters. If you want to do it that way, we can flip-flop it real quick.
The reason
Cool.
I'm doing it this way is because it's like, character lore is this is the first time in a long time that Cass has been in a fight, and so he connects with the sword, and then sees a mark on his hand and goes, oh right, and with the other hand casts it and backs away, and suddenly it's starting to click. Like you can tell, the way he stands is different. The way his brain is starting to fire some of those cylinders that it hasn't fired in a long time.
Yeah, that rust is definitely starting to come off a bit, and you're also like, oh, I hit that thing very well, if I do say so myself, and it looks fine, which is concerning. And that brings us up to Jules. You have seen both of your compatriots pull out some pretty nice looking swords and sink them into this now rippling body of water.
Yeah, Jules looks at both Cass and Rowena. Okay, you guys keep that distracted. I'm gonna go make sure our guide is okay. Look, I'm sure he just needs help up. And Jules just runs over to the guide. Okay, I'm sure you're gonna be fine, but look, just you gotta get up. You gotta get up. You gotta get up. You gotta get up. And he starts shaking him a little bit.
Yeah, you get up and you're shaking him, and he's bobbing up back and forth, and on your 4th or 5th shake, his neck kind of just snaps forward, and he just breathes in this huge exhale, and he just looks down at this broken piece of armor, and he's like, what the fuck happened?
Look, you got hurt. I think you may have gotten stabbed. Look, we got to get you to the back.
We gotta get rid of that thing.
Look, are you gonna be okay?
I can defend myself. As he props up onto his shield that was on his back, and just kind of is cloistered and away, and is very pale and seems very confused.
Okay, and Jules is gonna turn and start running towards the water elemental with the rest of my action and movement. I don't know how much you're gonna give me.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
You're able to get the 10 feet over, give this guy a couple of shakes, and you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if you don't and he snapped too, and he's like, no, do that thing, do that, and he's using his battle master things to get you this attack off.
Yep, I say because Jules has never seen somebody die before, and he is going to run and take a cat claw swipe at this thing.
Yeah, go ahead and roll the hit.
Hello darkness, my old friend. That is a 8 total.
Whoa, not in the 20s. First attack.
Nope.
That one is going to be a miss. You kind of come in a bit low, and this elemental is able to just kind of stand up on its ends, and is able to just get out of the way a little bit, and you're kind of back into the defensive position, and you're like, oh, this is the bad part now.
Mm-hmm.
As this thing gets a little bit more active and splashes down a little bit, and it's 4 smaller whip tendrils kind of fuse into one, whip around, and then slash down onto the top of Rowena, where you did the most damage to this thing. Is a 6 going to hit?
No, I am wearing armor and I have a shield.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think that would
Thanks
happen.
for asking.
Yeah, it's real telegraphed, and you're definitely able to get that shield up as it just kind of like splashes this water whip. And you're like, it's water. How bad can it hit? This whip definitely felt like a wave of water concentrated. And you can definitely hear that just ding, kind of cycle out from your shield as this whip comes crashing down.
Well, and I think the move that she makes too, like Cass would probably be able to tell, the way that she's moving with the sword and shield does not look like someone who's used to fighting. It almost looks more dancery or choreographed. And then when the hit happens, it kind of breaks out of that and she gets a little bit of the like, oh, snap face.
Certainly. And that will bring us up to your initiative, so you will have the ability to act.
I'm gonna just swing my sword around again. Because it's already in my hand.
Get that sword swing.
That will be a 17 to hit.
That will hit.
For another 8 damage.
Ooh, yeah, you guys are chunking this thing. You're able to kind of like brush off that choreography step and get back into the groove of things, and yeah, this one sinks true. And we come up to Cass. You have your hunter's mark active. What would you like to do?
So, after witnessing the water whip hit Rowena's shield, I think that like Cass kind of looks at it and pays not as much attention to her stance as much as like the sound and the power coming from the like solid, you know, and it's like, and he turns and looks. And Mark, is the body still attached to the wall? Is it like what?
It has definitely come
moving
off
in the
of
sewer
the
water?
wall. So it's not in the sewer water, but basically what you have ahead of you is just a big orb of water. So I'm thinking like 3 feet, 4 feet in diameter. And then from it, it's got all these sorts of tendrils. It's got, you know, half a dozen to a dozen legs behind it, always shifting in number as it needs support based on which way it's waving, almost like a strange dancing spider. And then on top of it, it's got these smaller tendrils that then occasionally will come together to make these big, powerful attacks.
Okay, then that's great. Never mind then. And then I will see that and then kind of rush towards it again with my sword, and give it a big chop with my sword.
Great. Go ahead and roll to hit.
Does a 15 hit?
A 15 does hit.
Okay, excellent. And then this will also include my hunter's mark.
Correct.
Plus 2. 9 damage.
Excellent. This thing is now like you slash in, you're able to get the momentum almost all the way through and you pull it back out. And the water surface level on this is now just like rippling, as well as parts of it are like dripping off of it and it's starting to get a bit smaller. It's trying to like wiggle and move out of the way, but it seems like almost the water surface is unstable. Almost like there was a small creature inside of it, like trying to swim down a creek, kind of all of those types of ripples on it. This thing is looking very unstable. And that'll bring us up to Jules.
Jules is just going to take another look back at our guy to make sure he's still standing.
He's like crouched and behind his pretty large shield.
Okay, but still up.
Yeah. He's up, he's breathing, color is starting to fill his cheeks.
Then Jules will run up kind of Naruto run style, obviously trying to impress his 2 party members, and will jump and do like a flying slash to try and down this thing. I'm going to roll in D&D Beyond. Nope.
Brave man.
That's a 12. Same thing as I rolled last time.
You got an 8 last time, which is Very low. Did I get an 8? You got a lower number. You got single digits. What
Yeah.
did you get this time?
12. I got 12.
You hit. You're level 1. Things are not that hard to hit.
Yes. Look, I've never played a
Everyone's
level
too
1 character
jaded.
before.
Everyone's forgotten their roots.
Yeah.
That is a 6 slashing damage.
6 slashing damage, and this is enough to just rip your claws all the way through it, and you are able to slow down in the middle, and you push through and kind of rip out from under it. And as your hand kind of leaves that last trace of it, this water elemental just disperses as if someone popped a beach ball of water in midair, and it all came splashing down in one motion.
And
Bringing
as
us out of combat.
and as that water kind of like splashes down onto Jules, he just like has this massive smile and just erupts. Did you guys see what I just did? I killed this thing. Let's fucking go.
Rowena just sheaths her sword, looks at Jules, looks at Cass, looks over at our guide, looks back at Cass. Wasn't he dead?
And then Cass kind of like just runs his hand over his eyes to kind of get some of the water off, and then like walks by Rowena and goes, and like you can hear him just say like, of course you don't care that I haven't been in a fight in 10 years. It doesn't feel like you care anyway. And then I like goes up to the guide and and it's like, weren't you dead?
I might have blacked out a bit. I feel like it got me from behind, and then this guy took me back to life. You must
Can you
be a
walk?
healer of some kind, right?
And then he turns and looks at Hunter Jewel, and then looks back at the guide. Can you walk?
Yeah, I think I got my legs about me.
And then he like just sort of picks him up to a standing position.
Yeah, he definitely has a little bit of a weak knees, and he like checks himself.
Oh,
He does
Rowena
not
will
like
come
the-
up and just immediately arm over the shoulder him, like, just like, all right, we're going.
Yeah, he's like definitely thumbing this like, 3-inch like hole in his armor that just has like his bare skin that still has some chest hair on it, and he's like thumbing it. He's like, oh, it's the strangest feeling. How's it look in the back?
I will
And-
look
and-
back.
Yeah, Jules runs around.
like a 7-inch hole. Like it makes no fucking sense why this guy's standing up right now.
Is the hole like open?
The armor, his metal armor of like a chest plate that kind of like went over him with like padded and leather. All the clothes are gone. His back's fine.
So
But
it's
there's like
healed.
a 7-inch.
Ish.
Yeah, there's like a 7-inch hole, and there's just like some swirly back hair patterns on him.
Yeah, I guess it must have. I don't look like it hit him, but it must have missed him.
Hey, thank you for your
yeah,
healing.
I don't know what to say.
I get that the gods are in town, or the gods in town, but strange things have happened, and I really appreciate this.
Wait,
The whole town does. I mean, this is going to solve a lot of issues and save a lot of bucket trips for the town. So
I didn't heal you. I just made sure you were okay. Like I just brought you back to to safety.
well, thank you.
Let's
You're
go.
you're welcome.
I'd like a drink. I'm a bit
Yeah.
queasy and could use a bit of a.
Would you like to go see a cleric, or should we just go straight to the
I
bar?
no. I actually, you head to the bar. Cleric's a great idea.
I just feel like
I'm
you might
with
wanna
the
get-
church. I know who I can go talk to about some of this stuff. I'm sorry, you're new in town. Let me take you to the bar and we'll separate from there.
Rowena is going to just bodily haul this dude
Yeah.
out of here.
He has the ability to walk, but he appreciates because he's definitely feels discombobulated about all of it.
Yeah. I don't think she necessarily realizes she's doing it. She's just like, I don't want to be in here anymore. We're gonna go.
Yeah. he's able to, stretch his legs and get to going with you. He definitely appreciates the help. He does pause to lock up all the doors behind. You all made quick work and acted pretty seamlessly. I don't know about how much faith you have in each other, but you seem to work as a team well.
Yeah, we were great. Did you see how I just slaughtered that thing?
I did. It was good stuff. I couldn't have done it. Not me. Definitely not me.
How old are you?
Oh God!
No. Looking at Jules.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, I just turned 21.
Ah, yes, that explains a lot, actually.
What do you mean? Like, it explains like how I'm able to like do all those flips. Explains how I'm able to be so cool.
Yes, no, that's exactly what it is. I wasn't nearly as cool as you when I was 21.
I'll give yourself some credit. Hey, wait.
I was an old married lady at 21. What are you talking about? I was boring as all get out. Let's get you to the cleric then, shall we?
Yeah, no, I'm taking you to the bar first, though, and someone will be able to help me out. You don't know your way. The Lloyd's place is this way. And he, like, points over, since you're kind of the one directing his movements at this point, and has you, like, go off some alleys and things like that. Can I get a perception check from everyone?
I'm right there with you. 12.
No, you're not. 6.
Let's see if this one gets me less ridicule. I got a convenient 20.
Hey, well, but
Hey.
That better than spicy 20?
Well, now you're selling your 20 a little short.
I know what we're talking about. It's a convenient number to have to see things.
Just admit that you'll never find a word that makes us both happy.
I'm gonna keep trying, though.
So the 6, not a whole much. You're kind of marching away. You're taking it all in.
Still muttering to myself.
Yeah, definitely. You're wrapped in your own thought. You're like, I should have done this. I should have done that. Like, I could have done this a little bit better here and done that better there. Beating yourself up. You're like, there's a lot more rust than you kind of thought there was. And then, Jules, you got a tail.
Hmm?
Other than the one that's attached to you.
What?
They're about 40 feet back, kind of as you round a corner. There's a tall man or a tall bald person kind of following you. Kind of pops up as you are popping up around these corners and like winding your way through these streets to whatever bar that Lloyd's daughter is partaking these days. But yeah, as you get to one corner, he pops up for just a moment and you kind of make your way and you're kind of just taking it in and you're like, oh, could be a fan. You're kind of hot stuff around here. And then for Rowena, with your optimal 20, you definitely have your arm up around the guy and have like kind of the brace, and you like check your grip. And when you go to check your grip, you notice on your bracelet, one of the pearls has gone black. It's definitely a weird thing. And as you kind of like turn around the corner and you like try and spot the bracelets on both your companions, they also all have one black pearl on their bracelets.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up my pace, actually. I notice that I'm like, okay, I want to get to the bar and I want to look for G.
Great.
Do you guys know that there's this like tall bald guy that's been like kind of following us? I kind of want to go like ask him what's going on.
We're being followed.
Yeah, there's this guy. I think he heard how good of a job we did, and I think he just wants to congratulate us.
Upon hearing that, immediately Cass just ducks away, and I want to take a stealth check to get behind this guy.
Sure thing.
And you both see Rowena visibly look panicked when you say that you're being followed.
I rolled a 13 on my stealth check.
Excellent.
Real tough not rolling +9 every time. Let me tell you what.
Fucking rogue mains, am I right? Like, oh.
Yeah.
Level
I wouldn't even call
1
myself a rogue main.
on-
I'm just saying level 1.
I have a +5 to stealth. I don't know what you're complaining about.
Well, you're not hiding, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Oh, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you kind of duck one way as they duck another. You can definitely see Rowena get a bit like nervous and a little bit more kind of just fast moving eyes as she definitely picks up the pace a little bit more. You see your new compatriots there, Jules, break off in different directions. Who are you sticking with?
I think Jules is gonna just like immediately turn around and like just try and like scamper over to the last time he just saw the tall boy, not trying to be sneaky, not doing anything. As he sees like both of them just go two separate ways, he's kind of just like, wait, and he just stands for still and then kind of just like turns around and is gonna go try and find that tall guy.
Definitely.
Oh my god, you're such a cat.
So curious. As you make your way kind of back down the alley, he kind of just comes around the corner as you're like maybe 5-10 feet away. He's like, boy, you where'd your friend with the green cloak go?
Oh, you talking about Cass?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I lost him for a second, but hey, did you hear what we did? Is that why you're following us?
Yeah, chosen by the gods, sent on a quest. The crowd's really getting in the way of things, but fortunate I should find him. I got some papers to serve.
Papers to serve? Oh, you did. Is he a delinquent?
No, he's just kind of abandoned some of his rights. If you could get this to him, it'd be much appreciated.
Oh, yeah. Is it just like just a bunch of papers?
Just a bunch of papers.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I can totally. Yeah. I can give that to him. And
Appreciate
he
it.
holds out his hands.
And yeah, he like reaches into his cloak. And as he does so, he's got like this big overcoat, and he pulls it open, and he has got like 3 copies of this contract, and he pulls one out and hands it off to you. It's big, it's dense, it like immediately unfurls, and it is written in a language you do not understand.
You mean it's not common?
Nope.
Okay.
It is not common. He's like, go ahead and get that to him. It's best for his eyes only, you know. Probably needs to keep his own privacy private.
Yeah,
But,
no, I'll find him. Look, I couldn't even read this if I tried. But yeah,
That's why we do it.
I'll get it to him. But hey, did you hear what we did though?
Great things are bound for you. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
You're goddamn right.
Gods be damned right. And yet he just turns around and leaves.
And Cass kind of like is processing that for a second, doesn't get it.
Not Cass.
Damn it! I'm
Come on.
Jules turns around, processing that sentence for a second, doesn't get it. Just like no, goddamn right. Yeah, that's what he meant. Okay, great. And it turns and starts walking back, kind of whistling.
I assume I didn't get the jump on the guy, so I will just pop up.
He definitely stopped like 20 feet away from kind of where you were, and it seemed like he was speaking louder than a normal conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I will just pop up right next to Hunted Jewel. Who is not my character.
I am so excited to edit this later. It's going to be so much fun.
And I will look down at him. Or I guess you're probably my height, huh? How tall are you, Catboy?
Around, probably around like 5'9".
Oh yeah, okay. You're around my height. I will look at him and I will just be like,
Oh, sorry for the podcast. What do you do?
oh, you're right. And I will just. You're right. You're totally right. No, thank you for calling me out. Actually, I will just give him a shoulder shrug and put both of my hands out, kind of like, okay, what do you have for me?
Oh, it looks like a contract, and I can't read it. Here you go, and Jules hands it over.
The sheer just like
I'm changing my character's name to
your
Cass.
face.
I'm changing my character's name to Cass.
Effort in your face.
Nope.
To not say Cass. Okay.
If y'all are done flirting back there, there's beer waiting for us at the bar.
Oh, right.
And that bar really is just around that corner. As you'll scamper away, and you'll be kind of dumbfounded about like being served papers in the back alley of a town at the other side of the continent. Feels a bit strange. And as you kind of round and the doors throw open, there's a big hubbubaloo cheer of like, yeah! And like there's a round of beers. G is there just patiently waiting by the door. It says, welcome. Come on in. How's your friend doing?
This one? Well, he got stabbed pretty badly. We thought he was dead. He's apparently not. Not sure what the other two are up to, but I'm sure they'll be here shortly. The Tabaxi's very excited about what we did. I still haven't caught his name. But, we're all here.
Hey, good to see it. Sir, you look like you need a cleric. He's like, yeah, I kind of think I do. I just, I'm just feeling, I swear the Tabaxi, helped me. It, more than just help. I just want to figure out and understand what it is. And you're like, yeah, understanding's the name of the game. We should get you some help. You enjoy the round. Everything's been paid for. We'll talk again soon. Let me take this guy to the church. Enjoy your revels. Your heroes, your champions. First time here and you've been selected. Congratulations.
Thanks, G.
Gee, could we talk?
Yeah. It's a little quieter out here. I'll be back for you. Take a seat, friend.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like sits your cohort down that needs to be escorted and kind of steps out into the wings. Fellas, drinks are a pouring. Those contracts usually go a bit better with a pint in you. As you're like starting to look at this contract, it has all this legal jargon and is talking about abandoning your rights to any unpaid debts to you. There was a small stipend that is now forfeit from you leaving your home. You cannot lay claims to any citizen rights of property. It's all of this big jargon and just all elegantly written out in Dwarven print, and is asking for like your signature and initials on various pieces of the paper. Just like checking off like, yes, I'm waiving this right. Yes, I've abandoned my province that's been given to me back in Alpine's Peak. Yes, I don't care about this. No, I don't care about that type of stuff. And the date for when this was drafted is months and months and months ago.
Okay. Is there a fireplace in the inn?
There certainly is.
Yeah, I think I am sitting by the fireplace with 3 separate, mugs of beer and nobody else around me, and I'm just ripping each page in like neat halves as I read it. I'm just like borderline. I'm doing that thing that everybody does sometimes when they don't have scissors and they like lick the edge of the paper and then rip it off over the table.
Mm-hmm,
what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I am doing that for every single page of this contract, and I am just gently placing it into the flame, watching it burn, taking a big drink and doing it with the next half.
Love it. And yeah, Jules, you're able to take all of this in, and Rowena, you have G to yourself for a moment outside. Yeah, what'd you want to talk about?
And I'm just gonna hold up the bracelet and show him.
Oh, lost its tarnish. That's a pity.
Is that
If they need natural oils, if you kind of like just buff it, rub it with your finger a bit, it probably will get its sparkle back.
the other two are the same. It's identical. That mean something to you?
Honestly, you're the first 3 I've handed them out to. So no. News to me. And I'll certainly I'm not too familiar with precious stones or anything like that, but I shouldn't happen.
I mean, I knew someone for a while who was very good with precious stones. I might have some papers or something in my things that he gave me. Sure, I could look it up.
Hey,
sorry, I must seem terribly ungrateful. Just a little on edge these days, is all, and the whole chosen by the gods thing didn't really help.
It did. You might not get it, but it did. Haven't heard of it not helping.
I'm sorry that you didn't get picked.
It's been 60 years. It's all going according to plan. But I'm gonna get your friend out of here and get him the help he needs. Take a drink. Take a pint. Enjoy.
Thank you for everything, and I hope your plans work out for the best.
I think they will. And like pushes open the door and like, time to get you to a cleric, and just like hoists him up over and fireman carries him. Here's tab's been paid. And we'll just start making his way down the hall. You kind of like whisk him off, and as he rounds the corner, you can see just this big silhouette of a big bald dude at the end of the corridor.